Chapter 7. Chance. Chance thanked the man sitting in front of him. Though he seemed completely capable, Chance just couldn't imagine working closely with him. Maybe it was the fact that the man sounded like he had a perpetual cold, or the fact that he had rubbed his nose at least 10 times during the interview. But if he were honest with himself, it was probably due more to the fact that he couldn't get Merribeth out of his mind. Though his mother had interrupted him last night, the computer had called to him as soon as he entered the office this morning, and he'd found himself poring over her records for the first half hour. They had been complete, though sparse of any additional information, especially any about her family, and he hadn't found out much other than what he already knew. However, she was an incredibly hard worker who rarely took a day off, and that was exactly what he was looking for. "Thanks. We'll be in touch." He stood and shook hands with the man, thankfully not the hand that seemed attached to his nose, before crossing his name off the list after the man had left. Other than Merribeth, there were only 4 more names on the list, but he needed a break. As his stomach rumbled, he checked his watch. It was a little early, but he figured the on-site restaurant might be serving lunch already, and he needed to check out their food anyway to get a feel for the place. The restaurant had an upscale feel with its jewel-toned colors and gold accents running throughout the place, and the seating was comfortable. But Chance grew a little concerned when it took more than 5 minutes for a waiter to approach his table. Considering how few people were in the restaurant, the service should have been faster. He would definitely need to see if the restaurant was short-staffed. "Sorry, has anyone helped you yet?" A young man with dark hair and glasses appeared at the table, holding a thin, black rectangular item that Chance hoped was the menu. "Not yet. Are you the only one on today?" Chance asked as he looked around the place. The man shook his head. "No, but the chef is having an impromptu meeting, so everyone is gathered in the kitchen right now." The man lowered his voice and leaned a little closer to Chance. "Evidently, there's a new manager on site, and chef really wants to impress him." Chance smiled up at the man. "You don't say. Well, I would hate to interrupt such an important meeting. Does the chef call them often?" He didn't mind if the chef called an impromptu meeting every once in a while, but if this was a regular occurrence, he would need to discuss the proper times for meetings with the chef. The man shook his head. "No, this is the first one I've ever attended. Anyway, why don't you take a look at the menu?" He placed it on the table in front of Chance, "and I'll be right back to take your order." "Sounds good. Can I get your name?" Chance knew name badges were not the norm for upscale restaurants, but servers and waiters generally identified themselves. "Oh yeah, sorry, it's Paul." As the man hurried away, Chance made a mental note to talk with the restaurant staff he hadn't met yesterday. He had no desire to get Paul or anyone else in trouble, but consistency was definitely a necessity, and leaving customers with no idea of one's name was a customer service no-no. Opening the menu, he stared down at the offerings, which were slim. The menu only contained 2 pages. There was a choice of 2 appetizers, a salad, and scallops. 3 main dishes, all of which had French-sounding names, but he assumed contained chicken, steak, or fish, and 3 desserts. Since there wasn't much offered, he hoped the food would be delicious. Paul returned a moment later with a basket of warm bread, and Chance placed his order for the salad and steak dish. He had just buttered a slice of the bread when he heard a familiar voice call out to him across the room. Seriously? 2 days in a row? This was getting out of hand. "Chance! There you are! You really need to get that personal assistant or a secretary. I had to scour the hotel looking for you." His mother slid into a chair across from him and tisked at the slice of bread in his hand. "You really shouldn't eat that. The gluten is so bad for you." "Well, lucky for me, I don't have an issue with gluten." Chance wasn't even exactly sure what gluten was, but if it had anything to do with bread or pasta, he certainly wasn't going to give it up. A frustrated sigh escaped his mother's lips as she rolled her eyes. "Well, when you get all puffy and inflamed, don't say I didn't warn you." He was about to tell her he didn't get puffy or inflamed, but she kept right on talking. "Do they have anything on the menu that's gluten-free here? I keep asking Butch to meet me for lunch here one day, but he's always so busy. Hopefully, now that you're here, you can take some of the load off him. It would be great to have a boyfriend I actually saw once in a while." As she droned on, Chance tried not to wonder if Butch's busy schedule remained full because of work or if the man were avoiding his mother. He hoped it was the former because trying to tell his mother that she might be the reason for his busyness held no appeal at all. "Hopefully they have a salad here. I'm starving, but I have a showing in an hour, so I don't have much time." "The waiter should be back in a minute. We can ask him, because I honestly don't know." In hopes of ending the conversation, Chance shoved the bread into his mouth. His mother adjusted her watch and glanced around the restaurant. "Where is the waiter? In fact, where is everyone? Shouldn't someone have come to check on you? I may need to have a word with Butch about the way he's running this place. The customer service here is dreadful." Chance bit back his annoyance and swallowed his bread. "Mom, no. The chef is trying to impress me, so he's having a meeting with the staff. I'll talk with him later." "He should be trying to impress your guests. Maybe you need to hire me to work for you, Chance. I could whip this place into shape like that." She snapped her fingers. "Mom, I just started. Give me a few days to define my role before you decide the place is worthless. Besides, aren't you busy enough?" She waved her hand in a dismissive gesture. "I could always move my schedule around and carve out a few hours. It's been a little slow lately anyway. December usually is, but I didn't say worthless. I just think I could help it run smoother." Chance pursed his lips together. He did not want to argue with his mother right now. Relief filled him when Paul appeared a moment later with his food. "Oh, sorry, I didn't realize you had a guest. Let me get you a menu as well." Before he had taken a step, his mother held up her hand. "Don't bother. What do you have on the menu that is paleo or gluten-free?" The question clearly caught Paul off guard. "We have a salad and scallops for starters." "I'll take the salad, but please make sure there is no dressing and no croutons on the greens. I'll take oil and vinegar dressing on the side. Now, what do you have for the main course besides whatever he's having?" Her nose wrinkled slightly as she indicated Chance's meal. Chance rolled his eyes and took a bite of the offensive steak. Perhaps the conversation with his mother would have to be sooner rather than later.